High Court, our reporter Hasina Gori, following proceedings there in the Senzo Meyiwa court case. Hasina, thank you so much for your time this afternoon. Now, we heard from Sergeant Thabo Mosia, who took the stand in this particular case. He's a forensic field worker with 16 years of police experience. Talk to us about what important information that he had to say today, and also what else transpired in the court proceedings.
Good afternoon. Yes, quite a long day here at the Pretoria High Court as the trial officially went underway with that first witness being called to the stand. It's been long awaited. There's been much delays, much postponement, many changes before we finally got to the 5 accused being formally charged and now a first witness. And this is quite an important witness. It is, as you mentioned, the forensic officer, one of the first at the scene at the night in question in 2014 at the home of Kelly Khumalo's mother in Vosloorus. It is the first, eyewitness that would have been at the scene from the police officials and really detailing what he witnessed when he arrived there just past midnight on the 27th of October 2014, explaining, the kind of things that he saw, such as that bullet hole in the kitchen door, saying that from their preliminary investigations, it seems that the intruders had got in from that kitchen door, speaking about the bullet jacket, which is a piece of the bullet that they had found, and explaining to the court how he had moved then in that direction and followed that direction to find the bullet projectile, which was found in the kitchen cabinet behind some glass jars. So detailing some of those evidence that he found. Also spoke about a Scotch hat, which was a grey, brown and a white, which was seen on the floor of the kitchen, as well as the walking stick, which he also saw when he entered. Also said that what seemed to have looked like blood near the television stand, as well as around the television. That was some of the swabs. Then he went into quite a lot of detail around the swabs that he had taken. So almost 12 swabs were taken from the crime scene, from the handles of the bedroom doors, bathroom doors, the kitchen tiles, as well as the floors of near the television stand. So these were kind of all the different evidence that he went through and gave detailed into the swabs and the method in which it was taken, as well as detailing the way it was then handed over in the chain of custody. These are quite important issues because the purity and of the crime scene has already come under question. And when he was asked by the judge, both he and the state prosecutor said that they will respond to this at a later stage, whether or not there was tampering to the crime scene on that evening. Also quite important is that the state is relying on linking that bullet to the gun that was found by accused, or with accused number 3, Pitts in Ngube. So they are really relying on this evidence to link the accused to the crime scene and to show common cause that they had planned this killing. But also what he had detailed around was, and it was brought up by Advocate Tefo, was whether or not he was the correct person, saying that the affidavit was, signed at a different space. But he went into detail explaining that he was at that scene that evening. He was part at the place as well. So this is crucial evidence that will form the basis of the state's case going forward. So quite important for him to go through. So from what we know right now, there's at least 12 swabs that were sent through to be tested for DNA, as well as that there was that projectile. He also mentioned that there was alcohol found on the scene, detailing at least 3 or 4 bottles of alcohol, saying that he had swabbed those as well for DNA to find out who exactly was at the scene. So those will be coming out when we hear from the ballistics. I know he had referred to certain issues, saying that the ballistics expert would be more suited to answer to that. So those are the evidence that he had really put together around the case so far, starting this case. When the state prosecutor introduced him this morning, he did mention he is number 46 on the witness list. So it's quite a lengthy case that the state has. We know that from their state opening argument on Friday that they are set to call at least 15 to 20 witnesses, including Kelly Khumalo, who this morning we got that confirmation from the state when he had asked for the watching Magdalene Mwinsami to the watching brief to be excused from the proceedings, saying that it might prejudice the process at the time, saying that right now, as Kelly Khumalo is going to be called as a state witness to testify, that it will prejudice other witnesses as well as her own testimony, and that's what we saw in the morning, preceding the first witness being called. But also, when we're closing this afternoon, another matter that has really come under scrutiny, we heard, as the postponement happened last week, that accused number 3 alleged that he had been assaulted here at the Pretoria cells, saying that he was assaulted by a correctional officer. We did hear from correctional services saying last week that they were investigating again today. The state prosecutor saying that it's an ongoing process, but what we got confirmation from was that accused number 3 was checked by a medical officer, and it was found that he had no injuries, that he had sustained no injuries that they could see of, and there was no harm specifically that was done. We know on Friday as well that the advocate for the 4 accused had asked for accused number 3 to be moved from maximum security at Khosi Mampur and to be moved to the normal sentencing holding cell, saying that he was being kept before this at Johannesburg Correctional Services, and they don't understand why he was, now being kept in maximum security. We heard from Correctional Services officer, one of them, as well as a letter that was read out in court, saying that due to the sentencing and, the threats or security threats that they may pose, that it was in line with the Correctional Services Act, and that's why he was being kept in maximum security. We also heard then again from accused number 5's lawyer, Zanele Mshulolo, saying that her client was also being kept in solitary confinement with no reasons being given, and saying that some of his rights were being not given to him. And the judge really saying that he did not want to engage or entertain or get into any discussions around where prisoners should be kept, saying he did not understand or have enough knowledge around the security that needs to be put into place, as well as why the categories were in place. So saying to both the lawyers that should they feel their clients are being rights are being violated, that they should now take this matter up as lawyers in the legal framework, but he will not make any pronouncement or be any judge, and that he was just asking for the information from the correctional services to ensure that no assault was being done to these accused, that while they're waiting for trial, that they ensure that they're here the next day without any injury, saying that it is already such a tough process, and he did not want to add added burden, but he would not be a judge when it came to where they should be sentenced, and this was something that the correctional services should decide on. So really putting the matter back into both the accused lawyers' hands, saying should they feel that their accused or their clients are being violated, they should take up that matter by to the courts and not in his courtroom specifically. For now, the matter has stood down to tomorrow, as the detainees have to return to court by back to the prisons by 3:30, and saying that we'll return tomorrow morning with the forensic officer, Sergeant still on the stand, still explaining to us these evidence that he had collected, as well as that digital photo book, which will form a crucial part of this case. So we'll be back tomorrow morning, once again giving you rolling coverage as the trial continues. Back to you in studio.
Absolutely. Hasina Gori, thank you so much. Hasina reporting there live outside the High Court in Pretoria, of course, talking about one of the crucial witnesses today that we heard from, Sergeant Thabo Mosia, forensic field worker with 16 years police experience. Of course, he arrived at the crime scene at midnight on the day of that particular shooting. Of course, we'll continue with this